Hey folks, today's video is going to be a compilation of all my herbivore videos I've done so far because I'm not going to do another one for a while, let's be honest, because I have a lot of stuff planned for the channel soon. I've made some tweaks to some of the videos here though, so you guys should be alright. I did have one scheduled for today, but that's going to be tomorrow instead because I had a late flight and I'll be busy setting up my new apartment. Unrelated, but I sat next to probably the most spoiled kid I have ever seen yet on the plane. At first I didn't really mind because I thought, alright, maybe he might be autistic, but nope. The kid was just spoiled. My noise cancelling earbuds were having a battle with this dude's screams. He kept kicking on the chairs, screaming no when everyone asked him to quiet down, and dropped to the floor and tried to crawl like an elephant seal. I'm not one of those people who thinks a baby should be banned because everyone has the right to fly, but it's moments like this that remind me why I'm not ready for any children whatsoever. In other news, I should be done setting up my gaming PC this week, so get ready for some gaming content on the channel sometime in September. Saw a new game that's coming out soon called Night of the Extinct. Looks like the horror version of Night at the Museum, so that's something to look forward to. Anyway, I think I've bored you all long enough. Enjoy more than 30 minutes of a video showing you why it may be in your best interest not to pet that wild capybara. I don't know what it is about animals that strictly eat vegetation, but most of it creeps me out. Yes, we are very fortunate that most of these animals decide to eat plants instead of meat, but come on, you're telling me this doesn't look more menacing than a lion or a tiger? Or what about those moose videos where the hoofed bastard's eyes dilate and they start lumbering towards you as though they're possessed? And don't even get me started on horses. I know deep down there's something lurking behind those eyes. I don't care how many of you equestrians come for me, I'll fight you all. What I'm getting at is that herbivores are criminally underrated in films that have scary animal characters. Usually it's something like a lion, snake, or a big bear killing everyone, but herbivores are almost always left out. I don't know if I'll be able to find a movie, but there was a movie where all of these sheep just ran down as a flock and started eating people alive. At that time I had watched Lake Placid, Anaconda, etc, but none messed me up like that movie. It is nice to see some analog horror creators in the YouTube space implement these things into it though, and not just run with a herbivores or friends trope. For example, Aslan Studios did a great job showing just why you shouldn't walk up to Littlefoot and pet him. And in this video it gets even more real, with the Car Studios video showing just how dangerous these animals can be in real life. A lot of you guys in the Discord, go join my Discord by the way, have been asking me to review some videos from this channel, so here I am. I'm not going to do all the videos in one upload because I am currently on vacation, believe it or not, but today we will be covering 2 uploads from Akarsh Pictures, so go on over to his channel and check it out. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. The tape starts off with a park worker called Aditya informing his higher up of a plant situation currently in the park. Apparently they somehow got plants from the past, which honestly isn't that surprising, I guess, given that they can bring literal dinosaurs back. But the vegetation in certain areas are growing so fast that it might become a problem in the future. But the vegetation would soon be the least of their worries when Aditya finds this.
Or else you can advise us with other solutions, because it is going to get out of our hands soon. This whole place would become a forest if we delay action on this issue. So please take this very seriously. Like, if we look around here, one of these plants is... What the hell? This is a nest. Wait, there's one over there as well. I hope these are not snake eggs.
I don't know what those eggs are, to be honest. He said it could be snake's eggs, but I doubt it. I did think it was a raptor's nest because it did look very similar to the ones in Jurassic Park 3. But the worker hasn't been told of any breach in any of the enclosures so far, so it's likely not a murder turkey. And we get this scene of a Maiasaur that seems to be preventing a Triceratops from passing or something. I don't even think it's the Maiasaur eggs because it's still within the fence, but who knows, to be honest. Whatever the reason is, that Maiasaurus would not let that Triceratops pass. The worker mentions one bizarre detail that was pointed out by someone in the comment section, and that was the gender. He said that her frill wasn't supposed to look like that, implying that the Triceratops was supposed to be female, but with the blood being flushed into the frill to make it more noticeable, it's more than likely a male pumped up with testosterone. Male elephants go through a phase called musk whenever it's breeding season, and this makes them the biggest crashouts on the planet, in both size and attitude. Their aggression rivals that of hippos when they're in this state. We obviously don't know if Triceratops went through this exactly, but like males of almost every species, their bodies are flooded with testosterone and they become very aggressive towards everything. Something this Maiasaur would soon find out. My leg! Well, the Hadrosaur effed around and found out. Do you know what this reminds me of? That one scene from March of the Dinosaurs. I wonder if the creator took some information from there. March of the Dinosaurs was a documentary that revolved around the life of a young Edmontosaurus called Scar. That was migrating. In one scene we see another Edmontosaurus stand up on its hind legs to try and intimidate a Pachyrhinosaurus to make it leave for food, but the Pachy just got fed up and charged into the Edmontosaurus midsection, breaking ribs. I mean, both of these are different species from the ones in the tape, but they are close relatives and the scene is pretty familiar. Regardless, that male trike shoved that Maiasaurus so hard it put a hole in the fence, which led the park worker to call for backup because of the breach. But then Sarah's crackhead uncle turns his sight on the ditcher, who isn't even safe when he tries to climb up a tree.
The Triceratops and the Maiasaur are out of their area, near the vegetation disposal shed. I repeat, the Triceratops is out.
This Triceratops does not discriminate. Even when he's up a tree, bro decides to knock it down. At this point I can't tell if it's hate or just pure aggression. I mean, it is somewhat similar to animals in the wild. Sometimes cave buffalo will try to ram a tree if they see a lion just run up into it. They obviously can't knock it down because even they don't have that much power, but a 7-ton reptilian rhino with 3 horns could do the trick. Aditya did manage to crawl under a feeder from what it seems, or at least under a structure with a lot of vegetation.
Move a muscle.
It can sense the worker in the vicinity or at least smells him, but eventually just decides to eat the vegetation on top. Luckily, just before it ate enough to the point where the worker's cover would be blown, backup arrives and contains the trike.
So, how do you feel?
The crazy part is that after all of this, one person had the audacity to ask if he's okay. Like, dude, I almost got gored and could have had my hand possibly snapped in two with that powerful beak. How do you think I feel? The one good thing about it though, is that at least he got 2 weeks of paid leave. If it was me, I'd be suing. You're not gonna get away with just 2 weeks of regular pay. You better double that. We have more prehistoric emergence lore, guys. Looks like we're taking a break with the predators too. I'm not going to lie, I'm so invested in this analog horror series ever since I found out that talking T-Rex was an infant in the previous video. If you somehow don't know what a prehistoric emergence is, it's a prehistoric analog horror series by Aslan Studios, and revolves around prehistoric animals coming back to the present via openings in the earth like caves. But it's not just the creatures. The water itself from the prehistoric seas flows into ours today, causing the sea levels to rise. While most of these creatures are very bad for our health and are actually hell-bent on eradicating mankind,
Bad. Very bad.
some are actually helpful, but when we exploit them, an Aztec entity increases the tier of punishment for humanity due to our greed. If you want, you can check out this video for a deep breakdown on that. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at a news upload titled The Friendly Giant. So I guess we're getting something wholesome in this video. Probably something like The Land Before Time. But just before we get too deep into the video, consider hitting that subscribe button and join my Discord. If you like anything prehistoric, then you're going to feel right at home on my server. If you're an artist, you can even share your creations and enter competitions. Or you could just be the guy that sends dinosaur memes. We love you guys, by the way. With promotions out of the way, let's get on with the video. Before we look at the video itself, in the description we get a little introduction on who the video is going to be focused on in the tape. It states, "Welcome to the channel, I'm Dino Chaser. I scour the earth for beast time itself." You might have caught the clip where I smuggled Titanoboa eggs out of the Amazon, or the video of a Megalania lunging at me which made 10 million jaws drop online, but none of that compares to what's about to happen. Join me as I embarked on the most ambitious expedition yet. Okay, so I don't think this person is as wholesome as the name suggests, because what do you mean you're smuggling Titanoboa eggs out of the Amazon? What are you, the dinosaur cartel? They also seem to be one of those brain-dead influencers who put themselves in mortal danger just for views. I can't think of any other reason for a Megalania lunging at someone. Yet despite all that, this tape will show their most groundbreaking find yet. So let's see what exactly it is that she found.
I'm Dino Chaser. and in today's video, we'll be chasing yet another legendary creature. If you haven't been keeping up with the news, let me enlighten you. A plethora of openings have appeared around the world, both in the ocean and on land. Among all the reports, the most intriguing are the rumors of a so-called behemoth roaming Argentina. Hikers in this area have reported broken trees and massive footprints.
So in the intro, she's basically explaining the prehistoric emergence and how she's capitalizing on it. But she's now curious about the rumors saying there's some sort of behemoth in Argentina. So from that and the thumbnail, I'm just gonna throw my hat in the ring and say it's an Argentinosaurus. Now with a 100+ ton animal lumbering around the area, you'd think that there'd be some sort of picture or at least a recording of the creature, but apparently not. The only thing they have to go off of are a few footprints, which could be a hoax, and some knocked over trees. But old Dino Chaser believes in the rumors and books a flight to find this thing. You know what this reminds me of? The sauropod rumors in the Congo. I know a lot of the places unexplored, but at some point you'd be able to see a massive sauropod there. At least once.
Okay, I wasn't planning to record yet, as I haven't seen any signs of the behemoth. But I'm going to take this time to talk about the future of this channel. In my next video, I plan to explore the rumors taking place in the ocean. Apparently, a GPAC Marine officer claims to have spotted something he can only describe as an ironing board on a shark. My scuba gear is shipping soon, so you guys can expect that video in a month.
As she's taking a walk on the trail, she discusses the future of the channel, which is a bold claim from someone who almost got eaten by a giant crack lizard. Apparently she plans on going into the ocean for her next video. Mind you, there are mosasaurs and megalodon confirmed in the water at the moment. But the reason she wants to go is because of what a GPAC officer saw. It looked like a shark with an ironing board on its back. Alright, so I guess she's gonna try and find a Stetocanthus. Which, fun fact by the way, isn't exactly a shark but a very close relative.
My scuba gear is shipping soon, so you guys can expect that video in a month.
Yeah, that's kinda unhinged. To go swim in our oceans right now is an almost certain death sentence. Not so much because of the Stetocanthus, because it couldn't kill you due to its size, but 80% of what's coming through those underwater caves can. As for her current expedition, well, it's not going so well. She's been looking for 5 hours now and there's nothing in sight.
I think it's almost time for lunch break soon. But I'm not giving up on this expedition just yet. There's much more of the Gran Chaco forest to explore, so wish me luck.
She even says that it may be time for a lunch break. No, Holmes, you need to give that channel a break before something eats you.
I finally stumbled upon a lead. There's an awful smell beyond those trees up ahead. It could very well be a carcass left behind by the behemoth. And if I'm not careful, I could be its next meal.
I was right. At this point, it is natural selection. The word carcass and behemoth don't set off any danger signals. Oh, I don't know, maybe the giant South American theropod like Mapusaurus could be in the area, and if they behave anything like real predators, then they're likely not too far away from the kill. She even acknowledges that she could be the next meal. But hey, none of that matters in the eye of the Dino Chaser. She's gonna go directly over to find out what's the cause of the smell.
The smell is really, oh god. I don't think I can handle much more of this.
Damn, that's gotta be one big carcass if the smell is a decent distance away and is making someone throw up. I won't call myself immune, but during college I had the choice of either wet or dry specimen for a lab. And me wanting to show off, of course, picked the wet. But the catch was that you couldn't buy your stuff. Whatever you brought in had to be caught by you. So I caught like 3 wolffish and preserved them in different jars with different alcohol percentages. And let me tell you, 2 of them smelled so bad that I started to involuntarily twerk as I dry heaved.
I don't think I can handle much more of this.
That is one big pile of shit.
Well, what would you know? It's not a corpse, just a big pile of shit. That still is weird though. Usually really bad smelling scat comes from carnivores. That's why dog poop smells so bad, but cow dung isn't nearly as bad. So it's weird that the store-bought dung smells that bad, but at the end of the day, poop is poop, so who knows.
I'm onto something. I saw bits of leaves and grass, leading me to believe I'm chasing an herbivore, so I shouldn't be in any danger. Given the size.
And there it is in all of its majesty. The Argentinosaurus towers over the treetops and makes a call akin to an eldritch horror you'd find on an American ranch. But I don't know what she means by since it's a herbivore she's in no danger, as if hippos aren't a thing. They kill more people than any carnivorous mammal on the continent, and so do Cape buffalo. But hey, maybe the sauropod is like the mammoth G-Pack captured where it's somewhat friendly.
It's beautiful. I need to get a closer look.
Hold it right there.
No you don't. There's a reason zoom is built onto the camera. Do you hear photographers saying they need to go closer to a rhinoceros? Like, does she really think that she's Dino Dan or something, and the dinosaurs will just ignore her or become acquaintances? But again, maybe I'm looking too deep into this. After all, this series does have a few creatures that don't really bother with us, so maybe this one is not an example.
Can't take my eyes off of it. I'm just mesmerized. Holy shit. Oh my god! Oh god!
Well, she finally fucked around and found out. Can't really say I feel sorry for her. I'm more concerned about what's gonna happen to the wetsuit when it comes. Will it just later unused when it could be given to someone else with a more sensible passion like lobster fishing? But in all seriousness, I was expecting this, but not that horrific. I thought this thing would have just hit her with its tail, or we'd see the camera pan up as it stands on its hind legs and squashes her. But nah, this thing looked her dead in the eye for a few seconds, roared, and then grabbed her by the waist or possibly even head. Then slams her onto the floor, where I assume she breaks something because she just stays still after she screams. Those screams, by the way, don't last long though, as we hear bones crunching and then pure silence. Well, not pure silence because you can hear a few burbles here and there. So for the moment she still is alive, but not for long. If I had to guess, the thing probably stomped her mid to lower body, which just destroyed everything, leaving only her upper body intact. So all she could do is cough up blood for her final blog. I saw a comment under the video itself which couldn't be more accurate. Well, depending on what type of predator it is. But most predators specialize in killing their prey swiftly so that it won't fight back for too long and increase the risk of injury. But herbivores don't kill to eat. They usually just maim, gore, or trample you to the point where you could barely move and don't appear like a threat anymore. You are alive, but only for a few more moments and in much more pain. Another interesting thing is the camera glitch. It's beginning to happen more in the series. I won't go too into detail with it since I already discussed it, but the statue Quetzalcoatl made an entire news station glitch out and rendered a lot of electronics useless, just from the camera panning on it too long. And then there's the T-Rex that could at will disrupt electrical devices and even see through the camera. And there's a few more like the Pterosaurus, this weird fish thing, etc, etc. So this Argentinosaurus definitely has a few things they do. Whatever it is, the possibilities are endless because this series does also lean somewhat on the more supernatural side of things. Like the deity Quetzalcoatl giving creatures of the past the power of speech and even organizing pterosaur armies to wipe out North America. But in the grand scheme of things, Dino Chase's luck finally ran out, since it was in fact not a friendly giant. So the moral of the story, kids, is that even if something looks big, cuddly, and only eats plants, you should not boop the snoot. Unless it's your final wish or something. For me, if I had to pet one giant herbivore, it would be the white rhino. Well, before the unfortunate news was given. But that's pretty much a wrap for this video, guys. Head on down to Aslan Studios and show him some love. He's got more projects in the making, and I for one can't wait to see what's in store for the next video. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. So you want to pet a dinosaur, huh? Well, you can't unless you embrace your moth. Whoa, hey. The thing is that you just can't. For one, they obviously are 6 feet deep and have been like that for 66 million years. And even if they weren't, you couldn't even approach one. Even the cutest herbivores, it could be a Protoceratops or a Camptosaurus, it doesn't matter. They're either going to run away or take your arm off. And for the bigger ones that are prey for some of the most deadly theropods to have ever existed, you'd be killed in the most brutal ways possible. They'd probably mess you up even worse than a big theropod like a T-Rex or something. Yet the Jurassic franchise would have you think otherwise. They literally have petting zoos for the babies, and the adults, even when free roaming, can be approached without any consequences. I mean, they made these guys so nerfed that the bone shattering swing of an Ankylosaurus club hardly does damage, and an entire herd of 40 plus ton sauropods can be taken out. I mean, it was a 9-ton killing machine that did it, but still, come on. However, with that said, there still are some herbivores in the saga that would never tolerate such disrespect. That's right, there still are some of these guys that will hold up the slogan of "fuck around and find out if you mess with them." Some of these guys will hunt you down just to make sure you're dead, and others actively seek you out if they sense you're in the area. So in this video, I'm going to be listing off the herbivores of the Jurassic franchise that wouldn't be an easy target for even the strongest of theropods in it. But just before that, if any of you guys want to have discussions about stuff like this or anything dinosaur related, join the Discord down below. We're on the road to 2,000 members and there's a bunch of events there to take part in. There will be art competitions and other events, so if you want to interact with me and your fellow dino nerds, join the link in the description. Alright, let's get back to the video. So before I list off the herbivores that would make even Rexy reconsider a head-on attack, I must mention one critical detail that applies to every single one of them. They may be different species, in different clades, some quadrupeds and some bipeds, but all of them are dangerous for the simple fact that they are free. Yup, that's right, all of these guys are wild. They either escaped or were just abandoned and lived free in the wild. In captivity, they were socialized with a lot of people. They probably see more people every day than they see their own kind. Even as babies this happens. However, when they escaped and were now wild, so were the carnivores. And now without any walls or barriers separating them from the bioengineered hellspawn womb made, they had to either adapt or eventually be killed off. However, one species on this list will try and kill almost anything if it senses them. Some of the dinosaurs still will tolerate humans to an extent, like allowing us to watch from a distance or even come a little closer, but the petting stuff has got to go. I mean, we see just how much more formidable they become compared to their captive counterparts, and one incredible example of this are the Ankylosaurs on Isla Nublar. I don't think I need to go too into detail. We all saw how that Ankylosaurus got taken out by the hybrid, and the slow, almost awkward way it tried to defend itself. Not to mention this entire herd just turn tail and run. This however shifts drastically as the months go on in Nublar, and they get back most of their survival instincts after being exposed to all the island theropods. The Ankylosaurs and Camp Cretaceous appear a little bigger yet more fit, and they don't half-ass the swings. If they intend to hit something, it's very likely to connect where they want it to. But the best change after they became wild was the herd mentality. When the scorpion came around, all the adults formed a protective circle like you see in some herbivores today like the muskox to protect the young. It's not just a circle either, these guys somehow are able to work in unison and duck their heads down, exposing their more armored parts, all while some members attacked at the same time. So they developed a way to somehow implement both offense and defense. I mean, the Scorpius is almost a mindless crash out. The only other thing we've seen able to deter this thing from killing another dinosaur was fire. Yet the Ankylosaurus herd made even it back off. And Bumpy, while not completely wild, because she was raised by Ben for a certain period of time, is able to trade blows with one of the most durable theropods in the entire franchise, being Toro, and she did this while not being even fully grown, able to dodge attacks in a split second and then dish out damage, eventually forcing the theropod to back off. However, she did spend a good amount of time with her own species, so it's fair to say that she's aware of what needs to be done when the time calls for it, and as an adult she's the most powerful member of her species easily. Very few things would really mess with her. I mean, this is more so to do with her wanting to protect the humans who raised her because she saw them as family. But regardless, all of them became forces to reckon with after being exposed to the wilderness for some time. But even they paled in comparison to the next herd animals. While you could somewhat approach the Ankylosaurus, you could not approach the Stegosaurs in the Lost World. They would allow you to watch from a distance, but you come too close and you're getting impaled. But that makes sense because on Isla Sorna these guys have been wild for much longer. They've had generations pass and gone. And when you live on an island with multiple populations of bioengineered raptors, T-Rexes, and a sealed madman that would make the biggest crack addict seem calm, you tend to develop more of a hard attitude. The Ankylosaurs might form a circle to defend their kids, but these absolute menaces will chase you down like a gold digger seeking child support if they think you're causing their offspring any harm. All it took was this little dog baby looking calf to sound the alarm, and the herd collectively turned into the Space Marines and turned their attention to Sarah. Homegirl was trying to run away and one took a swing to try and catch her off guard. And even after that, another one ran her down and tried to impale her, even as she tried to hide in a log. I get wanting to save your kiddos, but damn, if I heard more than 5 tons of quadruped hate marching behind me, I'd probably just faint and get trampled. I mean, at the end, everyone did learn a valuable lesson. And by everyone, I mean Sarah, because she now knew not to mess with any dinosaur infants. I'm just kidding, she didn't. Then there are some ceratopsians that now show better defensive behavior, like the bull-nostril ceratops that made the Allosaurus at the Battle of Big Rock leave them be. And the Pachyrhinosaurus, who more than likely was socialized as a baby with humans, but still is now able to effectively defend itself against the same Allosaurus when it's fully grown. But the last herbivore I'ma mention is one all of you knew were coming. This Therizinosaurus commits war crimes even on its fellow herbivores. Like that deer got its first slapped off because it was in the dinosaur's way. Again, proving that deer will look a 10-ton object moving towards them at 60 miles per hour, but heavens know if a leaf falls on the floor. I don't want to keep saying the Therizinosaur, so I'm gonna call him what a few Reddit threads call him, Terry. I can somewhat understand his aggression because since he's blind, he can't fully tell what's friend from foe, so the next best thing would to treat everything as a threat. And even if that means ensuring the target is dead by tracking it down, the guy traced clear step by step. Only the water surface saved her from becoming a Vlad the Impaler victim. And at the end, Terry did manage to kill Zeb. Granted that it was very unfair, and in a blatant 1v1, Zeb would rock his shit. But credit where credit is due, Terry still somehow understood a quick auditory signal from Rexy to extend his arms so the claws would point out towards Zeb when he came in. If it is a fight to the death, Zeb would have won in a fair fight, but if it's a case of food, then I don't think even Zeb would try and attack the Terry. He would have to be extremely hungry. I mean, they both lived in Biosyn Valley for a while, so it's likely that at least once they came into contact, or at the very least Zeb was aware of Terry. There are a lot of herbivores that are able to properly defend themselves now in the franchise, but honestly most of the hardcore ones come from the Lost World, or Jurassic Park 3, Isla Sorna, whatever you want to say. All these guys have been out of captivity for years on end. Even the Parasaurolophus don't play any games, although that superhuman did manage to bring it down with a rope. Oh, I almost forgot these guys, but the Stegosaurus and Chaos 3 also have the Lost World mentality. However, they do work with humans or at least accept them as neighbors. These guys ganged up on the Suchomimus and almost killed it when they thought it was a threat. It's not even like a hit and hope for the predator to leave. These dudes literally approached the Theropod and beat him up as though it's a gang initiation. For the longest while, some people were asking me to do a video on the herbivores of the franchise, and I finally decided it was about time. Because after Jurassic World, the herbivores were just depicted as fodder. Only Camp Cretaceous and the following movies redeemed them, and the herbivores that were on Isla Sorna for all the time were more than capable of defending themselves when it came down to it. So there still is hope. Maybe later on in the future there will be more of a focus on the herbivores of prehistory, because I think there's like 2 more movies planned before they finally put the saga to rest. And I'm not talking about the lowest levels of focus because she didn't do much. She was just some small ceratopsian that was carried around in a backpack and almost alerted the Mutodons to everyone's location. I'm talking about almost Bumpy's level of focus. Anyway, that's all for this video guys. The era of gaming content is coming soon. However, I'm not sure if I should open a second dedicated channel or just post the gaming content here in mid-September. Let me know in the comments or just join the Discord. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.